I feel like we've been reviewing a lot of Thailand Piston Cup Racer variants lately, but they've all been from the first movie, all the veterans, right? Why don't we up the ante a little bit here with a next gen? In particular, Barry DePedal, the RPM next gen from Cars 3. Obviously, he's in a two-pack here with Harvey Rodcap, the Easy Idle next gen, but we will solely be focusing on Barry in this video, and then later on we'll do a video of Harvey. I'm choosing to do Barry first because we just did an Easy Idle Racer last week in Ruby Easy Oaks. So obviously we have to go with Barry, and they deserve their fair share of screen time in individual videos. I didn't want to mush them together and try and force it. Let's just casually, thoroughly, concisely at the same time go through a Thailand to China comparison review here. Very excited about it. This is an older two-pack, actually dating back to November of 2022. It was a part of the 2023 main line. I remember I got on Mercari. I was very excited because it was the first place that had any 2023 two-packs. I don't know how the seller said they got it from like a random discount store. It wasn't even like a chain or anything, but they were the first person in the world to have these two-packs, but nothing crazy, as all these don't include any new releases, but all of them, launched with that first case of 2023 two-packs. Maddie McGear and Christopher Scopsey, who we reviewed, I believe, last year. Conrad Camber and Joas Carvers, might review them in the future. You have Jet Robinson, Caleb Worley, and then Flo and Saludos Amigos Ramon, all of which from Cars 3. So again, not a great set to launch with, but I mean, still some interesting combos and some familiar faces at the same time. And yeah, the package came absolutely mangled, so I knew from day one I was going to open it for the Thailand variants, but it just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed all the way to the point. Here we are a year and a half later after attaining it, even more than that now, and it is finally graduating from being background fodder. It always used to sit back there. I'm sure you guys might have seen it in the background before, and it's graduating to being opened, right? So very excited about this. But yeah, Harvey Rodcap, Barry DePedal, both of which have been released from Thailand in the past. Harvey released as a 2020 single, Barry dating back to 2019 here in the Desert Horizon collection. And I've just pulled this off the wall of shame, but it's on a pretty good card, so obviously we're going to open up the two-pack instead. And yeah, it's an interesting combo, but it's not really like a movie moment or anything of that nature. And it wasn't a rare pack. I feel like I've still seen some like lingering on the pegs, maybe as soon or as late as just a few months ago. But I'll be right back with this all opened up. So don't worry, you will see Harvey back again, but he's being whisked away for the time being as we focus on Mr. DePedal here. I will show you an image or two of him from Cars 3, probably at the Florida 500. He's a background racer, has no lines, doesn't really have any big moments in the movie, but he is a next-gen racer nonetheless. He has a spot on the roster. He is not as prevalent as Winford Bradford Rutherford was in Cars 1, his original counterpart, who obviously got whacked by Chick Hicks and caused the crash. And he actually, I guess, has a speaking line, but it's just a yelp. Barry doesn't even get the justice of having a yelp. But hey, he's kind of technically like a part of the villain group, so he would be the yelpy, not necessarily the yelper, right? If that makes any sense. Now, I will say I've always thought from just seeing pictures online that the expression was very strange on the Thailand version of Barry here. They kind of curved up his eyelid there and add the black line to it, and it just looks a little strange to me. I don't think it looks quite as good as the Chinese version. It's nothing terrible, but it just looks a little weird to me. You do still have the RPM logo there on the hood. I think it looks pretty clean. I'm glad that they got rid of the white trim on this portion here, which I thought was a little out of place, but the RPM logo, pretty solid. It's not really a decal. It's like the lack of the decal. It's like carved out from the black part of the decal, so it's really hard to hit that blurry and mess that up, right? It's like, all right, Mattel, what the hell? Is this what we have to do for you to get clear decals? But you know my stance on that. You got the very bright orange that's now a little more faded, unfortunately. It's not as bright and vibrant. He's got pretty much the same mouth there, maybe a little longer, maybe a little grittier of the teeth. Now, what literally is absolutely horrible on Barry here, and we really need to zoom in for this, are the next-gen rims here, the wheels that, as you could blatantly see there, have that like sandpaper texture look to it, where the sprayer, the paint sprayer, just completely missed, or it was not fully hit. Like, and you could see like the blatant switch from the center part of the wheel there, which looks pretty good, and then you curve it, and then bam, it's like you're stepping in the sand. It's like pebbles on the beach. It's like, why are there white specks everywhere? It looks absolutely, it looks horrible. This one might be one of the worst ever. And so that's why it's getting me worked up a little bit here, because you could really see how bad it looks. I'm like, hey, that looks pretty good. But then you turn and it's like, wow, it literally looks like he's got like snow speckled up there in his rim, or sand. And like with Harvey, it's not an issue because he's got black wheels. But it's definitely an issue here with Barry. And you could just see how much better it is on the Chinese tires or wheels, because you just simply don't have that problem at all. Like, it's just not there at all. It's perfect. Perfectly uniform the way that was painted. Piston Cup, Combustor, Carbon Fiber, and Synergy are the contingency sponsors there in a nice little yellowy gradient. Looks pretty good. Doesn't look that blurry or anything. Maybe a little bit, but I feel like the way that they did the decal makes the Piston Cup one at least a little more readable. This one here, it gets a little like red and intense down toward the end, but here it maintains the blue text, and I feel like it gives it a better aesthetic and visual in terms of being red. You got the 64 here on the side in a very modern looking font with like some exhaust coming out. You have the arrow indicating to the pit crew where to lift them up at. To change the tires, you have your exhaust pipes, which are no longer trimmed in gray. A lot darker. You have the gas cap there still. And then the color splotches are a little bit softer and they blend a little bit better. Like here you have like a purple square and then there's an orange square. Here it's more of like an indigo, but it's a little softer. And then you have this yellow to orange gradient instead of just like the dark orange you have up here. So they definitely changed up the coloring on a couple spots of him. 64, you have the roof flaps. The Thailand version has the window bars there in the back. You have the little yellow stripes on the left side, which is a nice touch. And then the RPM wing. Again, a lot more of a vibrant orange you have on the Chinese version. I do like that the yellow is more prevalent here on the RPM text, whereas this, it's the same orange as the stripe here. And I like the yellow, like it calls back a little bit to like the original RPM logo. And I think that looks pretty good. And then here on the back, you have 64 in yellow. Again, same thing I just said. I like that. RPM, and then the yellow racing stripes, which on the Chinese version are more orange, just the same color as all the other RPM graphics, which I think is a little lazy. So again, I am happy about the way they colored some of the things for the Thailand version. The yellow looks better, and the fact that the rookie racing stripes are a different shade from that center, like crown decal, is a very good thing, whereas here it just is way too much orange, right? Way too much. When was this guy made? R37A, so I believe that would be the 37th week of 2022 at the A factory, made in Thailand. So this guy predates Cars on the Road. This was, 2023 is when Cars on the Road. No, 2022, right? Yes, 2022 is when Cars on the Road stuff started to come out in August. So this guy came out in November 2022, and then 2023 was like all Cars on the Road. And then 2024 has been obviously pretty much all Cars on the Road as well. Now this Barry probably, I'm pretty sure, came out of the Next Gen Racers 4-pack, which was the super coveted Target 4-pack from late 2017, early 2018. That had 4 new releases: Flipped Over, Steve Slicklepage, JD McPillar, and Barry DePedal. Now, as time went on, some of these got re-released, like JD and Barry, leaving Steve and Flipped Over very rare, but then Flipped Over got released, and then Steve got released in a multi-pack, and they all kind of leveled out for a second, and then Steve Slicklepage took the crown as the rarest of the squad of 4. He still has only been released twice in multi-packs, not counting any XRS releases, and so probably the rarest next gen at the moment, along with, actually, yeah, I would put him up there because Bobby Road Test and Lane Locke, even though they're probably rarer, they are stock cars. They're not next gen. So yeah, Steve Slick LePage is crazy. And yeah, it's awesome actually. It's kind of funny to think about. It's not awesome that he's like super rare and hard to get, but everyone thought that Flipped Over would have been the rarest of that set, and it completely changed. It really changed. But JD McPillar and Barry really never had a shot. They never had a hand in that competition or a stake in that fight or a dog in that fight, however you want to put it, just because they were re-released shortly thereafter, and they also are just less cool designs than Steve Slick LePage and Flipped Over, so they were already at a disadvantage if they were trying to become the rarest of the bunch. But you guys gotta let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite, the Chinese Barry DePedal or the Thailand Barry DePedal. For me, it's not very close. I like the Chinese version quite a bit better, although I do like the coloring better on the Thailand version. Like, I think overall it's more of a lavender shade, which is kind of similar to Danny Swervez. This is more of a blue, which is just so similar to so many other next gens that this is a little bit more refreshing, even though still not the best color palette. I would have rathered if they went with like yellow as the overbearing like primary color on Barry, but they went with blue and / purple, which is like the same color that they use on almost every other next gen. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Of course, we have Bruce Miller here. We have Winford Bradford Rutherford, the Thailand version of him that I reviewed last year. Got Petrol Pulaski, the Pity. You got the unnamed RPM crew chief. Pretty sure he's unnamed, but you can always give him one. And some of his accessory pack items. I guess Winford's to be specific. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section below. What do you think? I've had some really cool Thailand variants come through over the last couple years. And I just don't think this one really lives up to the likes of Rich Mixon, for example. Or even, Bubba Wheelhouse. Or even JD McPillar, who was in that set with him to begin with. Maybe he's better than Aaron Clocker, but I don't even think he's better than that. This might be one of the worst Thailand next gens there is. I'm sorry, but I'm honest. All right, guys. Bye now.